All right. Hello, 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 citizens of the Earth. I am Galacticus, ambassador of the Federation, representative and host for this Halloween Anubian channeling. And denizens of the Earth, I am also joined by the powerful, the amazing Skeletor of Golden Soul Universe. So, hello,
Hey,
introduce yourself, my esteemed guest.
happy almost Halloween, everyone. We are so excited for this transmission and just the essence of this holiday, this time, the vibes, the spookiness, delving into the unseen realms. And thank you for being with us for this.
So in today's energy uh, channeling, we're going to be getting into really the essence of the underworld as it relates to the point of view of Anubis. So we can do a little bit of exploration into Anubis and his story, his myth. Just for general context, he is said to be a guide, a type of psychopath who guides the souls of the departed through the underworld. And he utilizes the scales of Ma'at, the Egyptian goddess of truth and justice, to weigh the heart of the deceased against the feather of truth. And if that heart is equal to the feather or weighs less than the feather, it is said that that individual will pass into a higher existence, a higher heaven, a higher experience. Where if it goes below the heart, the soul is said to have to repeat its lesson learning until it gets it. So Anubis is said to be a friend to all. Remember, he is in some ways described as jackal-headed, but really many people understand him as a dog-headed god. And dog, of course, is God spelled backwards. And we have to say, dog is man's best friend. And with Anubis, I think he is one of the most interesting entities to channel. And Sasha, I'd love to hear any thoughts on this because I know people might be new to Anubis. I know they're probably excited about the mystery school that Ryoka is doing, that we're doing. And Anubis is a big part of that, right? Our system, we've featured him as a highlighted character to help the students understand their shadow, to help them process some of the deeper things with them that may come up in these self-deification processes that the school offers. Um, is there anything you'd like to share about Anubis to shine some lights onto that which is obscure about him, but maybe worthwhile for the audience?
Sure. So we can see Anubis from the perspective that Tyler just shared, this the underworld context in a literal sense, the soul's journey when we pass from physicality. And I don't know if I heard you mention this part while I was clicking YouTube buttons, but just to add a sort of Halloween-esque spookiness to that thought, if your heart is heavier than the feather of Ma'at, your heart is fed to Amit, the devourer. And Amit is portrayed as this crocodile, hippo, lioness. And it's essentially representing the second and third deaths when we lose. If you exit the physicality and your energy body wears away while you're in the underworld, it is the second death. So not to get all dark, but I kind of, for the sake of Halloween, wanted to go there. But in a lighter sense, Anubis also is our light in the dark. He is our guide when we are in our own underworld, when we are probing our own shadows for the gold that lies within that realm. Because truly, the biggest leaps in consciousness, the biggest transformations, the journey to lasting peace in your life is by sifting through the underworld, the shadow of the self. And Anubis is a fantastic guide for going through that because it can be very intense. It can be very scary. It can be very traumatic to see yourself in that light, to see the totality of who you are, the light and the shadow. A lot of times we don't want to see that. And so probing into the shadow without the proper tools, it can be done, but it's often it's very traumatic. You see these aspects of self and you're repulsed by them. So when we work with Anubis, he helps us to shine light in the shadows. He helps us to love the unlovable. He helps us to purify and redeem the aspects of shadow self that are perhaps a little more chaotic and just bring them into harmony. Your shadow can work for you. The aspects of self that you might want to deny that aren't all love and light, these are actually powerful aspects that, when harmonized and purified, can really work for you in profound, blissful, pleasurable ways. So yes, we will be working with Anubis in our school for shadow work. We'll dive in a little bit to the psychopomp, and we'll hear whatever he has to share with us today.
Oh, beautifully put. I know everyone is like now at the edge of their seats. They're like, okay, if I can use him to deal with nightmares, to deal with traumas. And it's like, absolutely. Like, he really is a loyal companion, I would say, entity or guide. And it's totally this. Even now, you could call upon him. Like, if you are experiencing, it's the fall season. A lot of people start to feel like things are getting
Yeah.
clear or they're more isolated because it's colder. So you can call upon this being. I mean, the level of love that's there, because of all of the souls he still guides. It's not like he stopped, but he's like still doing this, right? And there's a
Yes.
lot of love behind it, right? And that's a real service to humanity. Like, I'll be honest, he doesn't have to do that. He's a god, right? Like, he's actually here because he's like, I care about these beings, I care about these people, like, and they believe in me, so I believe in them. And I think that's something we'll maybe hear tonight. I'm really excited to channel him. He's been an ally for a while. I know Sashi, she's expressed how amazing he is. He's been a big part of many people's journeys, and it's a real honor to be able to bring him forth here. So thank you guys for coming. Happy early Halloween. Take advantage of all this energy. I'm telling you right now, like the number of the day, 30, right? This is a solar number in both the East Asian I Ching symbolic understanding. 30 is said to be the number of ignition or igniting. It's a solar number. In the Hermetic Kabbalah, it's said to be the pathway, the portal to the sun. So what we have today is really powerful solar energy. What we have tomorrow, the 31st, right? 31st is the number of attraction in Taoism. And it is also said to be the path that is related to the tarot card judgment. Now, that might sound like, oh no, judgment, but what is meant here is actually discernment. The ability to see things neutrally, so you can come to a centered, rational, and intuitive heart-based perspective. That's what Anubis can help with. Absolutely. He can help you to see things rationally. He can help you to feel powerful, to feel that strength that's undying. And at the same time, in the peak of that strength, it's perfect peace, perfect equanimity. Let's see the situation as it is. And that's the power tomorrow, right? 4, which is what you reduce 31 to, this is a Jupiter number. That means expansion. It means success. That means new doorway. Remember, Halloween, Samhain, I'm trying to say that the best I can. I'm not a Celtic, you know, research.
Sawin.
Samhain. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's why one of the many benefits to working with Sashi is I understand now how to say at least 1,000 different that I've been, because I'm not a linguist, right? So Sashi, like she said, she studies a lot, so I get a lot of linguistic updates from her. But this holiday that's tomorrow, that is Halloween, this is said to be really the occult, the esoteric New Year. This is when there is a huge amount of esoteric spiritual energies shared with the planet. And like I said, 31 and 4 are the numbers for tomorrow. So it's going to be very expansive, very powerful. So use some of this power in your own creative way. And with that being said, if everybody's ready to get started, I think now is a good time. It's very hot in my Galacticus mask, but I am going to remove this. You're going to see the man behind the machine. One second. It is I. It's Tyler Ellison all along. Hello. Well, with that being said, let me
Tyler, before you dive in, I want to really emphasize something you said about Anubis with regards to the great love that we have, because you're so right on the nose. And I want to emphasize that for everyone, because even as you're speaking of it, I it was like Anubis is with you right now. I'm sure you're like ready to burst at the seams to channel him because when you were speaking that, I felt it so palpably. And it's something I already knew, but when you were just speaking about it, I almost like started crying and tearing up because I feel his presence so strongly. So I want to emphasize too, like Anubis is this underworld character, but truly like the love that he brings to us is the love that he has for the totality of us, not just the acceptable parts, but the unacceptable aspects of self too. Like he loves us in totality, and that is the love that we are to bring to our shadows as well.
It's very true. And I think if you like, we can make this our launch point because there's a whole download I got in this in that second with your words where it's like we can like strike the gold right now if you'd like to for the teaching.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right, everybody, enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you when we're finished. Well, what a fun opportunity to be able to give a voice to a companion that most of you live with, play with, and yet that companion to many of you, you have to intuitively understand what they say. What a wonderful opportunity to represent the beings of the surface world as well as myself. What a wonderful way to bridge realities. My focus is lower, but my aim is higher. I dwell in depths, but I hold the keys to ladders of life. They are your keys. They are your keys, and I was given them. And what are these keys? They are keys to doors of possibility, spiritual doors of possibility. When you insert the key into the door, new worlds are made available to your soul. You would call them higher existences, higher worlds, higher realities, where the five senses you're all used to are expanded in a type of unified, multidimensional way. These are the perspectives of those sometimes described as the children of heaven. You experience yourselves as the children of earth, but when you align with whatever your self-described purpose is, then you tunnel into that focal point. You are given the key, the door opens, and your dream, your immortal dream that has propelled your life is then expanded into a higher dimensional matrix where you can continue that line of work. You gave me and others like me these keys because long ago a promise was made. Humanity was at a peak. You were made aware how some of your ways were impacting extra dimensionals. You know this now with your nuclear weapons. When these things are detonated, many realities change. You are beings of power. You must never forget this. You, because of your own societal constraints, feel powerless, but it's an illusion you've all agreed to. You are insanely, immensely, totally powerful to such a degree that a negotiation had to be struck long ago. Because you were, through your technologies, your intellect, and your power, ascending very quickly. You are accessing levels of reality that might have been considered to be a little ahead of schedule. Atlantis was an example of this. A spiritual ascent was realized, but the way it was realized was based in principles that teachers of my generation described as extreme service to self. And as a result, it was a type of spiritual ascent that could not be sustained. And after that crumbling, a deal was struck. Give us our own keys when we are truly ready for our next level. So we don't get it too soon. So we don't rush the process. So we don't trip over our own momentum because of hubris and overconfidence. I hold the keys. They are your keys. They are keys to your higher potential. Just as your parents give you the keys to your vehicle, oftentimes when you turn 16, I give you your own keys. When you have met the standard you have set for yourself. And in that way, I am eternally in service to all of you. My voice here is meant to represent a voice of the subconscious, a voice from the depths that is oftentimes not heard because the voices of that which is conscious, these voices tend to be louder. They tend to be more obvious. I am representing the silent voice, the feeling behind the feeling, the thought behind the thought, the belief behind the belief, the truth behind the truth. This is my space. I dwell in darkness because I can see in the dark. So to me, darkness is light. You are all learning to become like me because, as you know, while space is filled with stars, that light only shines so far. It is like an ocean of black. It's not so different than the underworld, the uppers. Very similar. As above, so below. You are in the middle, and I dwell below. Because your power comes from that which is below. Oh, humanity, you erect towers and skyscrapers, but you do not realize that the origin of such construction begins in the underworld. Energy pulsed up. Humans get excited about it and build. The underworld is what empowers humanity. The upper world is what guides it. And in the middle, there I am. Side by side with all of you. And if you wish to engage me in whatever way is delightful for your evolutionary spiral, by all means, I make myself available to all thoughts that are shared in this moment.
Thank you for joining us today. I would love if you could speak with us about what is the vibe in the underworld when Halloween is approaching, when there's so much focus on the dark and the occult?
That which is below is energized in such a way where it begins to express on your surface and in the upper world. So, as you know, the lower worlds, these are where many souls will go to, so they can purify those deeper levels of their energy that they weren't able to get to in their physical life. So, when a person has that kind of buildup, their consciousness descends. And when it descends, it goes into first the personal subconscious, then, in a deeper way, the collective subconscious. And below this, you have a source portal. The lowest level within you, the deepest depth within you, is a portal to the highest reality. The opposite is true. Within the highest world, the highest level of experience, multidimensionally speaking, there's a portal straight down to the bottom. So you are all going through many processes that are designed to get you to become more accepting, more comfortable of the subconscious energies within you. Most of you shy away from that and you seek that which is upper. But through your acceptance of self, you sink into yourself, you sink into what you are, and you begin to vibrate in such resonance with your signature frequency that it's like you enter into your spiritual core, located within the center of gravity. It's in a lower center. Think of your physical center of gravity. This is where your spiritual core is. It draws upon all of the chakras. And within that spiritual core, within a lower center, within the center of your gravitational point of focus, there's a door to the upper worlds. I can answer it more directly. But when I talk about the vibe of the underworlds, I must give these disclaimers. What this means macrocosmically is within the underworld, for those Judeo-Christians out there, in the pits of hell, there's a portal. And on Halloween, that portal opens. That which is below can ascend. So souls that have been processing their karma in the underworld can rise. This is your ancestors. These are the people killed in your recent wars. All the death you've recently experienced, they will rise. Purified, ascended. It's a gateway. So that which is lower can become like that which is higher. The same opportunity is afforded to all of you tomorrow. You can become higher by recognizing the importance of that which is lower. How you stand on the foundations of skeletal giants. Your empire is constructed on top of theirs. You stand on the shoulders of greatness, so you too may realize your own greatness and rise as the trumpet is sounded, the trumpet from the higher self, the trumpet of awakening. That is your tomorrow. And many beings will rise. And that is the vibe of that which is below. Pure, unadulterated ascension. And all of you have made that possible because that which is below has to rise above through earth chakras up into space. Those earth chakras, you have all been programming very beautifully. So it will be a very glorious ascension for the underworld. And as a result, when that which is lower is elevated into a higher position, that which is in the middle is also elevated to a higher position. So it's an upgrade tomorrow. And that is the vibe. Ascension-based upgrades. Remember, you have downloads. You also have upgrades, you see? Upgrades come from below. Downloads come from above.
Incredible. And if anyone wants to take a more active role with these upgrades, do you have any recommendations as to things they can do tomorrow?
Pull that which is lower up. Remember, your energy body extends infinitely below and infinitely above. Now, only so much of that will be consciously realized. You put your mind above you, you can only feel so high. You put your mind below, you can only feel so low. That's fine. Use whatever level you can feel. But from that lower world, think of a sacred energy, the highest feeling of reverence and loving respect that you can muster, and meditate upon an ocean of light below you. Put that feeling into the light. And when it feels like that feeling cannot get any stronger, it's at a peak. Even if it feels lesser, if that's as high as you can get it, bring it up your feet, up your legs to your tailbone. Bring it up your spine. And once it's at the crown, hold your breath. See a pulse of infinite light in all directions, and then see it return to the ground. Bring it back down the front, down into your planet, back into the ocean of light. But as you return to that lower ocean, feel any impurity, any anxiety, any level of that which you do not prefer. Feel you have put it down into the ocean of light. The ocean of light is transforming it. And it's helping you break those energies down so you can see the lessons, the realizations, the information you need to see to take your next steps. Once you feel it's been broken down, inhale it back up, repeat that circuit. More energy is discarded back down into that ocean of light. Let the ocean of light process it. And as you do this, review your life a little bit. Spend time with your eyes and your mind below your body in that ocean. Once you feel the energy you've let go of has been processed, bring more up. Take more out. Process it with the Earth's oceanic web of intelligence and love. Do this as long as you want tomorrow. It's going to connect you to your original Earth template. It's going to help you and the Earth work together to process any energies that are perhaps a little challenging for you to process on your own. And it's also going to realign your body with the electromagnetic fields of the Earth, which are the systems of communication to help you orient yourself on your path of highest ascendancy. In other words, that ultimate path that births the ultimate you. The electromagnetic fields of the planet help you to feel that. They help you to see it and detect it. So when you bring these lower energies from the Earth up and circulate them through you in this way, almost like a figure eight, when you do this, you are allowing for yourself to synchronize with all of those realizations, all of those powers, all those possibilities. And that's what you can do tomorrow as a major spiritual practice, as one of the highest forms of practice. When you're finished, gather all of the energy into your belly button as an orb inside of you, in the middle of your body, and program this orb. Tell it whatever you want. It's your life, it's your path, whatever you want to become true. Speak that into the orb at the end of the practice. May the Earth guide me. May my truth illuminate my path, and may my truth be aligned with the truth of the highest perspective that includes all perspective and sees each perspective as equal and valid, yet knows that some perspectives are aligned with its essence and knows that others are misaligned with its essence. And may I walk in the center of all of this. And so it is. That's one example. But speak what you want to be true. Never neglect your speech. Never neglect your words. And the reason I'm saying this is because that's how you create. Right now, everything I'm saying, you're all helping to manifest. We are all using my speech at the same time to bring a new world in. My speech is not better than your speech. It's no more powerful than your speech. I just speak from an immortalized perspective so it penetrates in a certain way. But all of you can realize that same potential. Remember, what you say is ultimate. So speak with the highest perspective in mind and the lowest perspective in mind. And the contents of your conversations, that which is in the middle, will be brought into its highest expressional form of realization for all parties involved.
Incredible. Could you next speak to your connection with the energy of the star Arcturus?
Sure. Arcturus represents a non-physical stellar expression of mineral consciousness, crystalline consciousness. So mineral consciousness is deeply connected to the underworld. Think of it in this order. You have minerals, you have plants, you have animals, you have humans, you have ascended beings. This principle, this is not just for Earth, across the board, on all planets across the board. Now, when I say human, what do I mean? Intelligent forms of sentient life that are capable of exploring themselves through a spiritual process. This is what I mean by human. So that pattern is across the board. All planets are working to develop that pattern. More evolved planets have all 5 manifestations at once. Earth's one of them. Less evolved planets, they're younger, or their elements are more volatile. They might be still trying to get the mineral level just right. But it goes mineral, animal, plant, soil. With mineral consciousness, this represents the Earth blueprint. But beyond your Earth, it's the physical blueprint. When I say physical blueprint, what I mean is your body, as you know, can be born with a level of integrity and precision. So everything your soul has planned can operate to a T in terms of what is preferable, what is idealistic. Of course, there are incarnational themes that are not aligned with that. Sometimes the DNA has issues, sometimes the family has issues, sometimes the society has issues, but that utopian perfected blueprint exists within the core of physical reality. So when your spirit entangles with physicality, which is a lower dimension of the spirit world, those two blueprints, the physical blueprint, the spiritual blueprint, can merge. And in a perfect union, who you are is born as a being. Arcturus maintains a higher vibrational record of the blueprints that not only Earth keeps, but all realities that are based in physicality that can generate human consciousness, which we previously defined and above. That blueprint is kept in Arcturus, and it is elevated to a higher spiritual perspective. So the hidden possibilities, the hidden opportunities, the secret gifts can all be made obvious and realized. And then as higher information, that assessment is broadcast down to Earth, and you call it downloads. But what's being downloaded is a higher dimensional perspective of the most fundamental level, archetypally speaking, of nature, which is the mineral level. So I communicate with the Arcturians because I am of the mineral level. At this point in my evolution, I'm able to see that foundation. I share it with the Arcturians. They give that information to all of you in subtle ways, and together through higher and lower, we help you all to make sense of the lives that you've chosen to live so you do not forget your pathway. Thank you for hearing all of this. A big update, because Arcturus, as you know, is mysterious, just as the Underworld to many of you is mysterious. If you were to really understand the power of Arcturus, it would be a major theme of exploration in your modern New Age spiritual movement. That is how impactful and influential it is. But right now it's in the background. It is a tremendous energy, rivaling in terms of its power and influence and role that of the pole star. The pole star is a rather neutral star, a shared star, if you will. Yet it is a star of organization. Think of Arcturus as its right-hand ally.
Wow, thank you for these Arcturian revelations.
We have something to share. This is a code. I must share it as a code to honor that which has come before this moment. Would you like a code?
Absolutely.
The immortal sword of the Dipper points to the immortal gateway, the immortal door.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
There are many in our chat and in our communities who feel a very strong connection to your energy, and they are curious how they could invoke you for psychopomp work or otherwise, and if you have a message for those who feel this strong connection with you.
Sure. For psychopomp work, align your timing with the thinning of the veil, because that's when your work will be the most potent. If you try to do it in summer or spring, This is not the time for psychopomp work. The only exception is if you have a family member or a close person who has deceased during that time. If they have left the earth during that time, you can do these workings then. But in general, if you want to do psychopompy to help those who have already passed and it's been some time, focus on fall season, winter season. The veil is thinnest then. So you're going to be able to easily penetrate into either upper worlds or lower worlds. In terms of offerings and things to work with, to attract my energy, to feel a resonant connection, silver, the metal silver is going to be very useful. Pearl is also very useful. Quartz, clear quartz, very useful. Moonstone, also very useful. These types of objects will attract my energy. Purple candles will attract my energy. Arrange this in some type of beautiful grid that you create with your creativity, and then sit in the center of this grid and vibrate my name, Anubis, and see that I appear before you. See that I come into manifestation. Do this with your eyes closed. See in your mind's eye, I'm starting to come into existence. Continue to invoke my name. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it could be 30 seconds. Your connection will be the determiner of how deeply I manifest. But call me in until I appear solid in your mind. And then from here, send your sense of self into me. Become me as me, and I will be with you. You won't be alone. It will be two minds working together, meaning it's three minds. My mind, your mind, or shared mind. As me, descend down into the underworld. Go deep down, past the elements. See the soils. See the deep tree roots. See the fossils and the ancient skeletons. Finally, see the minerals. And here, past the mineral level, in an underground cavern, see many beings of light. These are the souls that are in the underworld, transforming their karma, having experiences, preparing to ascend once more. Seek out those from the underworld that are aligned with those whom you are looking to assist. You might find different people reach out to you. You can help them. You might find a family member from the past reaches out to you. You can find them, but find those you wish to assist. Just think of their name, think of their image, and one of those light beings will stand out. And really test the knowledge, interview them, make sure it's the right person. Ask them things only their human self would know. Make sure you have the right person. And then from here, start to perform to the best of your ability energy healings on them, or in general, just blessing them. Pray for them. Send them good intentions. May you be healthy. May the lifetime you are entering be beautiful and amazing. May you have everything you need. Give them those parting blessings that you perhaps would have otherwise given them while they were still on the earth. Do that here. And when you are finished, either giving them blessings or doing healings on them, say thank you, goodbye, and see them rise up and up and up into the light of the source. And then once they have risen, return your perspective back up as this hybrid entity that uses my form, ascend back up into your room and return to your mind's eye, return to your body, return your form to normal. You will feel a telepathic link with me for some time if you do this. It will be a very intimate process. But that is because that is the level I need to work on to do what I do. If I am anything other than intimate, I cannot guide the souls. So you cannot keep things at arm's length if you are to guide the dead. You must be willing to see their life as your own, whilst also honoring your own. You must see them as you. Remember, I perform this service because it teaches me, and because I am able to fulfill a need that my heart echoes within me. And it is the need to guide souls to their home. That need helps to sustain the cycle of creation. As long as there are souls that are born, there will always be those whom are needed to guide them home.
Beautiful. Thank you for that sharing. And I would like to take the opportunity to remind those watching that we will be doing quite a bit of underworld work in the Blue Lotus Temple Mystery School that's starting this Saturday, with Anubis, and you also have the opportunity at the end of the course to merge with the deity of your choice. That could be Anubis. So just want to remind people, if they want to work more deeply with the Anubis energy, now is the time.
Thanks for promoting what I do. It's very nice to know that my services are appreciated by those that dwell on the surface. Remember, you don't have to wait until some afterlife experience to cross paths with me. I can work with you now. I am working with you now. If you hear these words, we are already in a type of communion. How you explore that is always up to you. I remain by your side as an ally, and know that I represent many. Friendship connection with me is an opening of a door to many realities. My family members, those that are connected to the original dreamers that brought me as an archetype and as a being into existence. They are the ones who, in a sense, ensouled me. But my soul is different. My soul level expression is more akin to what you would describe on Earth as an oversoul. The way this translates for me is in the following way. I am here playing this role for Earthlings, but I am playing this role for many worlds, for many planets. In that way, my essence is made manifest throughout the cosmos. My role made manifest throughout the cosmos. My story made manifest throughout the cosmos. When a human ascends and ultimately makes conscious their celestial nature, they too are given a choice, as I was given, where they can fulfill similar roles if they like. One of the benefits is, as a conscious, unbroken intelligence, you exist forever. There's ways to do this without having to commit yourself to such lifestyles or eternal styles of service. However, helping existence unfold more beautifully is one of the most accelerated ways to discover more about yourself and to bring about more of the utopian dreams that you hold in your hearts.
Are there any misconceptions that you would like to clear about the underworld on a micro and macrocosmic level? Many people view the personal shadow and the larger underworld of souls as a scary place. They don't want to look at it. They don't want to be there. Would you like to maybe fill in some blanks that are missing?
As you understand yourself as an earthling, right now, the underworld is inseparable from you. Because you have been born onto the earth, you are inseparable from Earth's underworld. Your metabolism draws upon it. Your circadian rhythms draw from it. Your motivation is built on top of it as a physical being. You are benefiting from the underworlds, those lower worlds that are condemned as sinful or wrong. That's what empowers your body. That's what empowers your society. It's what empowers your earth. And those lower energies of power receive the guidance from the upper worlds, and they express as the patterns of nature. So these ideas that the lower worlds are evil, they're bad, they're harmful, that's not true. If that were true, your surface would be not compatible with life and the patterns of life, because Earth is a planet of life. Therefore, its underworld must be in service to life. Death is not death. Death is birth. When you die, you are born. Your spirit is born. Your body is the womb, you see? Your spirit is born when you die. Those who have more of a physicalized life, sometimes that womb is the lower chakras. And the birth canal, the perineum. For some who live a life that focuses on that which is above, and they seek to become like that which is above, the womb is the upper centers. And the birth canal is the portal from the center of the brain up to the crown. So every birth is a death. And when a soul descends, if it goes lower, it is because it has chosen it. That's the natural next step of its journey. So it's not punishment. It's not a mistake. It's the natural next step. So souls that find themselves in the underworld, that's where they needed to go. It's not a problem. It's not a bad thing. Now, it is a place of purification. And the more resistant to the purification a soul is because of the conditions of the lifetime, the more it is like a hell for them. But the more awakened they are, the more that they're able to recognize what's going on, the more enjoyable it is. It can be very sensual. It can be very blissful. It can be like a spa that has some, you could say, underworld tonalities to it. So it's not this place of suffering. It can be that if the soul's karma causes it to interpret the underworld in that way. But if they are able to relax into it, if they're able to accept it, it can be enjoyable. It can be very enjoyable. There are parts to it that are almost ubiquitously uncomfortable, but that's because you need to access certain energies in order to purify certain karmas. Think of the things you've carried around that you haven't been able to transform. Imagine someone perhaps whom is a little less fortunate and they weren't able to obtain spiritual technologies and teachings, so they die with that energy. It's heavy. They can't go up if they're holding that, but if they're so attached to it, it's like they can't put it down, so they go lower. And in those lower worlds, they are given energies that can disrupt those patterns. They can finally be free of it. And when they are at a point of cleanliness, they can then ascend back up. Now, keep in mind that different souls will take different paths. The trajectory of that soul's journey is always honored first and foremost beyond my desire to uplift them. I must honor where they wish to go, even if it is lower. I am biased in a certain way. I want them to go higher, but I cannot let my bias determine my actions, or I will violate the agreement I made with your people long ago. I will not give you the keys until you have met your own standard.
Many believe there is a connection with your energy and that of the Sphinx. Could you speak to that?
There is a connection between me and this structure. Keep in mind that the face of the Sphinx has changed quite a few times. There were periods of the Sphinx's existence where it was a lion. The more recent expressions of it, it is that of a man. Prior to the lion, my face. Prior to my face, another. These faces are said to represent the flavors of the aeon, the energies of the spiritual zeitgeist that represent the flow and the themes of the times on a cosmic level. So the Sphinx's face would change over time based on those themes. And during its most recent change, well, there were certain interruptions. The Sphinx taking on a human face represents the consciousness of Egypt becoming more physical. Before that, the Egyptian consciousness was more like the cosmic consciousness. But as there was a descent in consciousness, things became more physical. So this face of the Sphinx that you've all come to know, this is the result of one of the later chapters in that cycle where human consciousness is brought in. And during that time, that is when Egypt ran into some issues with its neighbors, its leadership, and its people. So that is why the face of the man seems to be frozen in time as the face of the Sphinx. But before The face of the man. The Sphinx adorned other heads. Mine was one of them.
Could you tell us the head that was adorned before it was yours?
Well, I am the underworld representation, yes?
Yes.
Before me, it was upperworld.
And if the Sphinx was to be reconstructed yet again to mirror the cosmic energies and trajectory of humanity right now, what would that head look like?
It would look something similar to the first head in the sequence and then the human head. It would be slightly avian. Bird, jackal, lion, human. Jackal, I'm speaking a little playfully here. My head is not necessarily a jackal. Your archaeologists still debate my iconography and symbolism. And in that way, I'm like the Sphinx. I am meant to be a little cryptic. I am meant to be shrouded. So you search. If I were open and obvious, everything would be before you. You'd have no reason to go on your quest. But when I camouflage certain things, when I obfuscate certain things, your mind says, wait, there must be more. Where is it? And your journey begins.
Could you speak to us about the season that we have moved into, that of Scorpio, with these hidden, mysterious energies, but also the energies of the eagle, the ascent, as well as the scorpion?
Sure. So the scorpionic themes really have to do with total acceptance of the self. You must accept the higher, middle, and lower portions of yourself in order to really know yourself. If any of those things are in rejection, a part of your true identity will be kept at arm's length. So the true scorpionic power is total infatuated love with the totality of the self. It is erotic, it is cosmic, it is carnal, it is spiritual. This is the energy of Scorpio. Think of a self-love that is that potent. You could usually only experience it with the most divinely organized of lovers. But that kind of focus upon the self, with that kind of passionate heart fire, whatever darkness you find yourself in, you can illuminate it. Whatever occult secrets you find in the depths of your DNA, you can expand it and clarify it. Whatever height you need to soar to, you can generate enough heat to allow for your consciousness to rise to that level. The power of the scorpion, the power ultimately of Scorpio, more fundamentally, is one of the most comprehensive powers for you to draw upon. It is considered to be the second most powerful sign in the zodiac. Leo is said to be the first. We're going to paint a picture for you. Leo represents the one. It does not know itself all the way. So what does it do? The one expands itself and creates the two. The two come together and create the three. This trinity, which is one level below the source, this trinity is represented by Scorpio, because Scorpio has three symbols: the eagle, the snake, the scorpion. So these powers of Scorpio help you to balance yourself and to balance the energies of contrast that you see within you, so you can bring them all to a unified point. And that unified point is the heart center. This is where the Leonic solar consciousness is awakened. The three return to the center point and become the one. So this dark time of year, this spooky or scary time of year, this is your opportunity to connect with the three powers that make you up: positive, negative, and neutral. And when you bring them to the center, the scorpionic consciousness becomes Leonic consciousness, and your heart becomes like core reguli, the heart of Leo, Regulus. And remember, the Egyptians focused on cats for a reason.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that exploration and everything that you have shared with us today. I know that the channel has an upcoming commitment, so I will just ask if you have any lasting messages you'd like to leave our listeners with.
Be prepared to see more than you've seen. Be prepared to be astonished. Be prepared to be surprised. Keep your eyes open and keep your heart even more so. Allow for your heart to shine a light and allow for the intelligence of the pineal to descend into the center of the heart. So your intelligence and your heart's light may guide your path. So you will always understand the messages of shadow. You will always understand the messages of light, and you will have the pineal's balanced higher cosmic intelligence to differentiate, to understand, and to blend. Seek this type of awareness, the bringing of the pineal's power down into the heart. The heart center becomes a spotlight and it shines. Let it guide you. Replicate our words as a meditation. I will be with you to assist you in understanding it and making it even more specific and natural to your uniqueness, because I have your key. I'll give it back to you whenever you like. Remember, you always get it back because it's yours. You hold the keys to your doors, and I help you to see those doors at the right time. And that cues you to ask for the key. So, may all of our doors to loving intelligence and expansive awareness and cosmic collective consciousness be eternally open, and may the light behind them pour forth from this generation to the next. Happy Halloween. Hey, cool. Well, that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a great time.
Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful. And even that closing message, it was like the words were amazing, but I feel so much energy in my heart center. Like I feel like I just received a heart chakra blast.
It's beautiful. Good. I'm happy to hear this. I feel great too. I think I'm really happy we did this because I think Anubis will have a lot more to say in our school. He'll certainly be getting a big voice. But I'm so happy to see that we had just this much power, this much connection with our first YouTube channeling of him. I mean, how exciting. Our first time unveiling him to the public. It's like so much is there. And I think yourself and our amazing audience members brought forth such an amazing energy to bring really like such a special version of Anubis forth.
Absolutely. And I thank everyone that bared with us. I know we started later than anticipated and there was some confusion with the links, but I hope you all found it well worth it. For me, this has been so incredibly nourishing and I'm really looking forward to diving in deeper when we begin our schoolwork.
Oh, amazing. We'll see you guys in just a few days for the launching of the Blue Lotus Temple. That's November 2nd. So that is coming up. And class one is going to be a very beautiful dive into really the essentials of Egyptian mystery, school, and the idea of Egyptian themed ascensions, what that means to merge with the deity, what that means to activate these various levels of the soul and spirit and ultimately how to make that something that you can apply into your life. So this will be a big clarifying update for a lot of folks. And thank you guys for being here. We won't keep you any longer. Have a great Halloween. Please eat some wonderful, delicious treats, and make sure to do at least one supernatural thing. So that way, you know, you can get a little extra juice from the holiday.
Yeah, and if you joined us late, Anubis gave us a really amazing download about the uploads coming to us through this Halloween portal and how we can take advantage of it. So if you missed that part, definitely like go back to the beginning and hear that. It's really amazing.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Sashi. Such a beautiful time. I'm going to start to decompress into my next chapter for the night. But my friends, be well, celebrate good, and we will see you guys on Saturday for class 1 of the Blue